place, rock the 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 place.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Jimbo with one beer at a time. I've got a very special episode tonight. It's just me and Robert. Unfortunately, Joe couldn't make it tonight, but we have a very special guest with us tonight. We've got BJ from Walnut River Brewing.
Correct.
BJ, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah. So my name is BJ Hunt, and one of the partners at Walnut River Brewing. We are in El Dorado, Kansas, and I promise you that's how we actually pronounce it there.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah. No, El Dorado is about 10 IQ points higher, but we tend to call it El Dorado. It is what it is. But,
if you're familiar with St. Louis at all, we don't like to use our French words properly either.
That's fair.
Crèvecoeur, Gravois.
Yeah.
Well, so we right there.
Fair enough.
Like to pronounce it our own fucking way.
So we like to call it Wichita Light in beer terms. It's about 30 minutes out of Wichita.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Right on. So, so BJ came down. You're doing a tap takeover tomorrow.
Yeah.
Where's the tap takeover?
So we're going to be at the Crafty Chameleon, kind of west of here.
Okay.
And I think we're starting about 7 o'clock. So,
okay.
Yeah.
We are familiar with Crafty Chameleon here, but BJ is hosting a tap takeover at Crafty Chameleon tomorrow at 7. Hopefully Joe plans on being out there, so you get to meet Joe, and he'll shoot some video. But we wanted to sit down with you. You brought us some beers. You brought us some really cool fucking hats, by the way.
Cool hats. Yeah, man, these hats are dope, dude.
Yeah,
I
dude.
like them a lot.
I mean, honestly, if no one around here knows this is a beer company, they're just gonna think this is my brand.
Yeah.
From now on, so
you should tell them that straight up. No, this is me.
no, this is just
Yeah.
Warbeard.
See, look, yeah,
It
matches. It matches.
I mean, my wife is gonna laugh her ass off when she sees this hat. I own battle axes, by the way.
Nice.
Bought those on a. Well, I have one left. The other one got stolen somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be a better story than that.
Yeah. Man, I tried to cut something down with them one time. They are purely art pieces.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I don't even own battle axes, so you got me beat.
This is why I'm not allowed to drink and go to festivals anymore.
Oh no, I hear you.
I own a $600 Viking sax.
Oh, nice.
Like a hand forged thing will cut down a fucking tree.
Yeah.
But one of those things. The wife's like, why do we own that? Well,
yeah. Only thing I really owned at one of those places was a turkey leg.
Oh yeah. I've owned a couple of those in my life.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So I want to start off with the first beer you've brought us, and we're just kind of gonna learn about BJ, Walnut Brewing, and shoot the shit. 'Cause that's what we do. So what is this first beer you brought?
So this is our Teter Rock Kolsch, and the Kolsch, of course, is a nice light German beer. It is a Czech Saaz hopped beer. It's very crisp, very clean, 4.7%, easy drinking, and it's a good bass fishing beer. So you're not going to mess up your topwater bass fishing drinking this beer, right?
I mean, that's about as good of a description as you could give on this beer. I mean, that is.
You could still mow the lawn in a straight line.
So that is around here. Around here, we do a lot of our judging of your different kind of lagers, pilsners, kolsches. A lot of times, that's a lawn cutting beer.
Yeah,
that is a beer you cut the grass, and it tastes fantastic.
Grilling,
Grilling.
Oh yeah,
sitting in the garage like we had a garage beer last week.
Perfect. Yeah,
nothing better than a nice garage beer in the heat of summer.
Yeah, and I don't. I'm not that guy that subscribes to only drink. Imperials in the winter. I'll crack one open after mowing the lawn too. I'm a wacko like that.
I what I appreciate insanity like that. Yeah. I wish I could appreciate. I will still drink. I will drink a Guinness no matter the time of year.
Right.
It's just the Irish in my blood. But I just I've tried cracking open like a Rasputin.
Yeah.
In the middle of summer, and it just. Ugh.
Yeah. Well. It'll make you laugh. We had, so you've had our Kuvalda, the Russian Imperial. So I decided to have a full 4-pack while I was grilling, and the chicken was done, and so was I. So I set the chicken down. I grilled it perfectly, and it was 6:30 p.m. I went to lay down on the couch. Cut to is 6:30 a.m. I'm like, well, yeah, I missed that.
Oh fuck! You ever cook with any of your beers?
I have, yeah, absolutely. And so it depends on what you're making. And I'm not a chef. Like, I can make steaks for everybody here, right? But I don't cook for 150 people. But yeah, our coffee porter goes great in like baking. I don't do a lot of baking, but in cupcakes and stuff, it's fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, it's got a very full-bodied coffee in it.
Okay.
And you can be wide awake drunk. Like, it is a half cup of coffee per beer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
wow.
There's caffeine. Yeah,
that's fantastic. I need beers like that. You know,
right?
College, I could stay up all night, all day.
Right.
Nowadays, you know,
sometimes
a 4-pack of Russian Imperial Stouts and
right?
I'm falling asleep at 6:30 o'clock.
You know, when we first started, this would have been back in 2013. We started in the back of a flea market.
Okay.
And it's kind of a crazy, you'd almost have to see it. You would walk in, and people were super confused because they could smell the brewery, but they could see crap everywhere. And you could get a pink flamingo and a growler of beer, right? It was a weird deal. But the rent was like $150 a month.
Okay.
So hard to, go against that. And then we ended up buying the building, and told my business partners, wife and mother-in-law, they needed to find somewhere else to go. But so my point was, we started doing this coffee porter, Devil's Blend is what it's called now.
Yeah.
And this old boy brings in 2 empty growlers, and the guy, he's a big dude. He's like 6'19" and about 280, and he comes in, he sits these growlers down, and he's like, boy, I got a bone to pick with you. And I thought, oh, God, I don't run that fast. And he sits him down, and he looks at me just dead eye, says, I drank both of these growlers of coffee porter. And my first thought was, damn, good for you.
Yeah.
And then he looks at me, and he says, and then I couldn't fall asleep. I'm like, oh, geez, he's screwing with me. All right. So he's actually the guy that fixes our beer truck now.
Really?
But, yeah, he's a mechanic.
Well, give him some coffee porter. He'll be up all night working on the truck.
Dude, actually, we have traded coffee porter for, in fact, 30 cases of coffee porter will get you a transmission put in the truck.
Hell yeah.
True story.
Hell yeah. Hey, it's commodities trading. I mean, I'm in the car business, and I personally have not gotten any. I had one weird guy that was offering. It wasn't the gold and platinum that he was offering was weird. It was the way he kept saying it to my boss. First of all, the guy worked for a dental company, so that's why he got paid in bonuses of gold and platinum. But in front of my boss, he keeps looking at me and goes, did you tell him about the other stuff? I go, you mean the gold and platinum? He goes, yeah, the other stuff. I go, buddy, you got to stop fucking saying other stuff. It's not a brick of cocaine. It's gold. and he's like, well, yeah. And, but I've heard stories of people trading horses for cars, trading bales of hay. And I mean, there's all, out at one of the stores that Rob and I used to work at, guy traded in 5 hogs and a mule for a Super Duty.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a going rate.
It might have been used. I don't know. I didn't know. But shit.
I know we got some weird shit down there. Like we got a camper and like some,
that's awesome.
Yeah, some random stuff that you wouldn't think you'd get it on a trade in.
Oh yeah, I mean, and you talk to some of the guys that were in the car business in the 80s.
Yeah.
And they seen some wild shit.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's not as nowadays it's not as crazy as it used to be. Everything's regulated. Goddamn government. But so you started in the back of a flea market.
Yes, sir.
So give me kind of I'm sure you've said this on a dozen podcasts. You've told this story before.
It's all good.
Can you lower your just?
Oh yeah.
Down, just, there you go.
That better?
Perfect. Yeah.
So give me kind of the rundown of Walnut River.
Yeah. So, back it up a little, and I met Rick, my business partner and head brewer. And to be clear, I don't brew. You don't want anything I make. Like, it'll have alcohol, but it will not taste good. Right.
So you've tried.
Yeah. You just don't. I just know.
Fair enough.
And so, Rick has been to brewing school. He is a BJCP beer judge. He actually teaches brewing school through the local community college.
Okay.
At our place, yeah. And he's done some Cicerone, and he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
And so a buddy of mine in grad school, we met, and I told him, I said, I love my folks. We have a family business. I love my folks, but I got to do my own thing. It turns out I'm pretty good at drinking beer. I want to start a brewery.
Who would have thought that was a financial trait?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I mean that's almost how Joe and I got this started.
Right? So he introduced me to Rick, who bought a building in El Dorado for two reasons. One, I mean, it was super cheap real estate.
Yeah.
Two, the biggest thing was that he laid out 35 water quality reports in the area and found El Dorado to have the best water for brewing. And it's the water is runoff from pasture rather than ag land, what Wichita water is, and that gets a lot of nitrates in there. You get algae plumes, things like that. Well, El Dorado didn't have that, and in fact, it's lined with limestone, so the salinity was right, the pH was correct. It was all we had to do was run it through a carbon filter. We were off to the races. Now you can make good beer anywhere, but you have to have an RO system and add back all the salts and minerals, and it gets expensive. It takes a lot of time. So, yeah, our water, that is exactly why we are where we are.
Interesting. Are you the only brewery in El Dorado?
Yeah, there's 13,000 people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
But shit, you make a goddamn good beers.
I appreciate that. And then our other partner is Travis, and he is a microbiologist, and he runs a lab upstairs. And so for a tiny team of, 5 people in production, and that includes the marketing and sales guy here.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's just a freaking spectacular
now,
team.
Your background is in marketing, correct?
My background is in education, and then I did my MBA, and just want to do my own business, and so here we are. It's a little crazy.
Sweet. I mean, that's as far as I'm concerned, that's living the dream, right? I mean,
depends on which day you ask me, right?
Well, we all have our ups and downs, but at the end of the day, you're making alcohol, right?
We are, and we always say keep drinking because our kids want to go to good colleges, right? The first one got a full ride, so we're in good shape there.
There you go. That's the trick. Get them academics, sports,
right? Academics, so engineering, and then the other ones want to be a lawyer, so he's going to need more money there. So,
oh God, yeah.
So drink a lot of Warbeard for me.
I will do my part,
hey,
sir.
I'll tell you what, this Teter Rock was on point.
And actually, the name of that, there is a real rock that looks like that on the can in the Flint Hills of Kansas. It's kind of rolling green hills, right?
Yeah. And
it goes back to in Greenwood County, which is where my mom lives out there, and it's a beautiful area.
Yeah.
Excellent bass fishing. There is an old ghost town, and it had a post office clear up into the 50s, but it's, of course, no more. It was an oil town, and long time ago they had an original rock that stood up where settlers could see kind of a pinpoint and focus, right? Because it's a sea of green. You can't tell where you're going.
Yeah.
And it eventually fell over. Well, they put this new rock up in the 20s, 1920s, and it looks just like that. So it's a tribute to the hardworking oil man, and that's why we made this light, easy drinking beer.
I mean, that's one of we've talked about that. I feel like I always say, even when we have new guests on, I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, but one of my favorite things in craft beer right now is that for years it was the hop wars, right? It was how hoppy could you make a beer?
Yeah.
Give me your, everything. Every brewery had to have the hoppiest, dankest, wildest IPAs, double IPAs, triple IPAs, West Coast, East Coast, whatever style IPAs. And in the last 3 to 5 years is when you've really seen lagers start to emerge as a craft beer thing. And to me, it's one of my favorite things. Weirdly enough, as a heavier guy, I actually don't drink a lot of beer at home anymore. Like, I feel like it just makes me too full. I can't drink as many beers as I used to. Now, when I do the show, I get into a zone, I can crush beers. But when I'm at home, I want something crushable.
Yeah.
That is perfectly that, because it's crushable, but it's super flavorful. It's crisp, it's clean.
Right.
It's got a great flavor to it. That is the type of beer that you could put a sleeve over it and just hand it to somebody. It's like, I don't drink craft beer. Have them drink it, and they're going to be like, that's pretty damn good. And be like, hey, guess what? That's not one of your major American brands.
Right.
You know, well, all right. I guess I'll drink some of that gay craft beer. You know what I mean? I always say that because my dad, I don't want to paint the picture that my dad's some homophobe, but he always used to say that to me when I started drinking craft beer. We'd be out to dinner and he'd be like, what kind of gay beer is that? One of the times I was like, it's a Red Stripe. We're in the Bahamas. I don't.
Well, that's funny. And he's a Bud Light guy.
He is a Bud Select.
Select. Okay. All right.
My dad's also 10 times more fit than I am. He used to run two half marathons a year, and
wow.
I mean, still, he shot a 78 playing golf the other day, and my wife's like, "Is that good?" And I go, well, a 78 for him is me shooting an 84. And she's like, yeah, I still don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I was like, all right, well, I was like, you've seen how bad this friend is at sports? She goes, yeah. I go, well, he shoots about 15 more than me, and I shoot about 15 more than Ed. She goes, oh, well, that's really good. Go, yeah. There we go, honey.
Yeah, no, we're brewers. They don't let us play golf much. They invited us out one time, and it was I forget what we were raising money for something.
Yeah.
Save the penguins with AIDS or something like that, right? and they invited us out to this pretty hoity-toity golf course. And they gave us a dress code. Collared shirt, ugly socks, and I mean, that's not what they said, but
yeah.
So we wore brewer shirts, have collars.
Yeah.
You know, we show up with the khaki shorts, and they wanted to liven it up, so they said, we need a team of brewers. I'm like, I don't think you know what you're asking. And so we got, from 3 different brewers, we had 4 brewers show up to this. It's probably been 5-6 years ago. And we brought our own beer.
Yeah.
Of course. And we started with crowlers of barley wine, 32 ounces. And they don't fit in the cup holder, so we had to chuck them.
Yeah.
That was a not great day.
You know what? That surprises me they wouldn't love you guys, because, I mean, honestly, every golf tournament, now the kinds of golf tournaments I guess most of that my dad would play in, it's full of people that take it seriously. Golf tournaments I've played in, like for car dealerships or car brands, half the field cares, half the field is there drinking and play. I mean, golf, I grew up playing. My dad was a great golfer, so I do love. But I play my best right in the pocket of a couple of beers.
Yep.
Throw in my nicotine, and that you got to keep that needle.
Yeah. Right
in the middle. You get a little too tipsy, there goes my game.
Yeah. Nope.
Get a little too sober, there goes my game.
I hear you. No, I my problem is I don't have game any which way you cut it.
Well, I'll tell you, I've had the same group of friends since I was like 10 years old, and we were all, I know I don't look it now, but we were all athletes growing up. I played lacrosse, I played football, and they were all much better athletes than me, like much better athletes. But to this day, none of them can beat me at golf. Nice. And it drives them fucking insane because they cannot figure out, as I've gotten into worse and worse shape over the years, they still can't beat me. And it's the one thing where I'm like, God, I'll never not love this, because we'll play around and be like, I don't fucking understand it. How the fuck? We were on a family vacation with 8 of these guys and their wives, and the conversation came up. And one of my friend's wives goes, who's the best golfer? And I heard a collective sigh from my entire group of friends go, Jim is.
That's awesome.
My guys, I don't know what to tell you. I can't run. I can't jump. But I can stand still and swing a fucking stick.
So, BJ, what do you have up next?
Warbeard Irish
Warbeard's
Red.
next.
Yes, sir.
So that would be the hats we're wearing.
That is, yeah. You didn't get the Warbeard undies?
I mean, I don't.
They're on back order.
Don't get the upshot. I'm not, This is the one thing we don't have a great system for here, being a beer podcast.
No, we really don't.
Yeah.
We'll figure that part out, though.
I could have just brought more beers in. Thank you. So, Warbeard Irish Red. This is... Now, here's the difference between Rick and I. God love Rick. He's awesome. God, what did he want to call it? Roughneck Red. I'm like, dude, just because it's alliteration does not mean it's a good name. I'm like, why don't you let me work on the name? And in fact, there's a whole another story to that. But this particular beer, Warbeard Irish Red, is 5.5%. Get a little caramel, malt, toffee to it. Super easy drinking. 24 IBU.
Okay.
Very crushable.
Little bitterness to it.
A little bit. Technically less bitter than the last beer we drank.
Okay.
That was about 27. So
yeah,
and IBUs are. I mean, yes, there's a calculation on it, but
yeah,
it's
been years
perceived.
since I read my beer brewing books.
Yeah.
I'm more of a just let the experts tell me,
Right.
But
So this is a beer that put us on the map.
That's a damn good beer.
Thanks, man.
It's got a lot of flavor to it.
yeah.
It's got a lot of flavor. Really good color.
So along with the alliteration, I'm guessing you wanted to do another nod to the oil.
No,
Really?
So this name. Okay, this is about a 3-beer story, but we'll condense it. So when, like any startup, we'd had the opposite of money, which is no money.
Right.
And in doing so, we were just, as ballers on a budget, we're like, dude, we gotta get some names and artwork and all this stuff done. And we had befriended this artist who was going through a divorce. And it's important because he had also no money. And he was hungry at the same time. So he wanted cash and snacks. And so we literally made all of the main artwork, the Highbeam IPA, the Teter Rock Kolsch, the Warbeard, our Walnut River logo. Monday through Friday, after our day jobs, I would go over to his house, and I would bring him the first night was a $100 bill and like Twinkies. And the second night was $100 bill and chips and salsa. And so it rolled like that all week, right? So we get all the way through, and we get to Friday, and we're like, we don't have a good name for this Irish Red. And he's like, I got it. He goes, we got a light and sound company. He's a music guy named Warbeard. We could co-brand it. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
He's like, won't even charge you. It'll make it work for both of us. I'm like, that's awesome, man. Yeah. So there are actually some Warbeard Light and Sound sweatshirts still running around out there. Anyway, so
Are they still around?
no,
Okay.
no, and they definitely don't own the rights to this at this point.
Yeah.
Because we got a phone call 4 years later. He says, hey, I see Warbeard's doing real well. I'm like, where the hell is he going with this? I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, I'm getting married again. Congratulations. We want to move to New Zealand. I'm like, okay. All right. And he goes, we just want 2 one-way tickets, and you can own that.
Okay.
I was like, well, I'm not going to buy you plane tickets because I don't play chicken with Expedia, but I see they're about $1,000 each. I said, I tell you what, we're going to write you a check, but you're going to sign something from our attorneys.
Yeah.
And that happened, a couple $1,000. And I ran into him, I don't know, a year ago at the store. He was not in New Zealand at all.
Wow. Did he make it to New Zealand?
No, I don't think so. He made it to kid number 2. Okay. Probably explains why he's still in Wichita.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, we own all that, and it's trademarked and all that stuff now. But that was it started off as a $100 a pop.
Yeah.
And Twinkies, and ended up being a couple grand. But still, even at the end of the day, a couple grand for a badass name is
and
still
a pretty cool
good
logo too.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
So that's the
we pay Robert in less snacks than that.
I was gonna say I don't even get.
He doesn't even get snacks.
He got paid snacks.
Dang.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Cash and snacks.
I kicked off a passion in you, buddy.
Right.
Oh, for sure. It was just like it was a perfect like merging because I was kind of doing this video stuff for the dealership anyway, so that getting the experience with you guys kind of led into the Culturecopia thing and then all the other little side projects we've been doing. So absolutely. It's
not to toot my own horn here, but what you do for the current dealership.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've paid you an inspiration.
Right. Yeah. So
Not Twinkies?
no, not Twinkies.
Okay. We joke
I
about
love
that.
me some Twinkies though. You know what I like the most? More than Twinkie, Chocodiles. Remember the Chocodiles? They were like Twinkies, but they were covered in chocolate.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I was never a big Twinkie guy. People call me weird. I like snowballs.
I like snowballs.
Yeah.
Huh.
What about you?
Hostess.
What's your favorite Hostess cake snack?
Oh. I don't know.
Ribs.
For like yes, check. I mean, I do like Twinkies. I will say once in a while. So they're good for a road trip.
Yeah.
But
I mean, as a heavy guy, I'm actually not a sweets guy. That's what I make the ribs joke, but I've always said if there was a restaurant that served food, and then their dessert menu was would you like 2 more ribs?
no,
just
one rib.
just one rib. Would you like 1 more rib, sir? As just a dessert? Yeah, I don't need cheesecake. Give me another rib.
Heck yeah, I am a fan. We actually, my dad, he's been gone now about 4 years. But when we were first married, I made the mistake of not going to the store with my wife, and I say mistake because she says, "Do you want to go to the store with me?" I said, "Nah, I'm good here." I didn't figure you needed help. Right? No, this was the wrong assumption. So she comes back and it was like, "Babe, were they out of meat? All I see is vegetables and bread." And she says, and my dad used to cook huge chunks of meat out on the grill.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, if you want meat, you can either go with me to the store or you can take your butt to the meat palace." And so that's what we started calling it out there.
How long you been married?
25 years.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
So thanks, man.
Yeah. That's solid. She vegetarian?
No.
No,
she just she doesn't care as much about meat. She'll eat it for sure.
My wife is, God love her. It's not like she's a health nut or anything, but the amount of times I'm she'll be trying to put together dinner ideas. I'm like, I need protein in there. What do you mean?
Right.
I'm like, I need fucking meat in there.
I think that's a guy thing because Tori's like that too. When we make spaghetti, I can't put meat in the sauce. I have to keep it separate.
Oh, see, Sarah likes
she's like,
meat
you
in
put
the sauce,
you put too much meat in the sauce, and I was like, I've never heard too much meat.
You can
in
do
one
that?
sentence. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
First of all, as a man with a vowel at the end of my name, I may not look it, but that's insulting because a true Italian Sunday gravy's got 5 fucking meats in it. You put an oxtail in there. You put some sausages. You put some meatballs. You put some ossobuco in there.
So she doesn't like her meat. She'd rather, when she eats pasta, she'd rather eat it with no meat.
Sarah can just. There are just times where Sarah's like, "Well, do grilled cheese, or we can have spaghetti, no meatballs." It just the random shit. I'm like, I need fucking meat.
Right. No, I just told my wife, I'm like, it's just a snack if we don't have meat in there.
Yeah.
It's not a meal.
It's a side dish.
I mean, and I'm all about mashed potatoes, but we better have some meat in there.
Yeah, there have been times where she's like, why don't we just do like baked potatoes? I go, and?
Nice steak and baked
Yeah,
potato.
like
That's actually a pretty good meal.
Yeah.
Put a fillet on it.
Yeah. With some butter.
Whole slab of bacon. Man.
Yeah.
As this kind of warms, I'm getting more of the malt in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's, like I said, 5.5, but we do make a big boy version of that around St. Patty's called Warbeard, and it is 10.1.
Ooh.
Now,
Does it taste very similar to that?
It's the exact same ingredients, just more of everything.
Yeah.
so you guys you're doing the tap takeover tomorrow. Are you widely available?
So
I know we've gotten a hold of some of your stuff, and when Joe was over at 9 Mile, but like, can I pick up all of your stuff in Missouri or?
So no, we are relaunching with the Teter Rock and the Warbeard.
Okay.
Because we had a distributor that forgot how to pay us, so we forgot how to send them beer.
Weird how that
Yeah.
works.
And in fact, I had to laugh. One of our other friend breweries back in Kansas had the same distributor, and he came by and he says, "Yeah, I can't pay you," but he started distributing tortillas. I guess he goes, "Can I give you some tortillas?" Like, what?
What?
Speaking of weird forms of payment,
So
yeah,
were they just a smaller distributor? And
they were, and it's just was tough. And
Yeah.
he's a nice guy. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we still have to pay our grain bill and our hops bill and our electric, and
got to pay yourselves. Right?
we cruise through some money.
I bet.
Yeah, none of that stuff is cheap. So
It's a whole. I mean, it's a whole thing. I mean, we don't even brew beer. We just make mead. And God damn it, I have who knows how many bottles of mead in my basement right now. Should have brought over some homemade mead. But I mean, that just making 20 gallons of that is a couple $100. I mean, it's and that's personal consumption, right? I mean, and that's 20 gallons. So I can extrapolate there. I didn't finish my college degree, but it's none of it's cheap. But especially when you're doing quality work like you guys are, and that's one of the other things now that I love about craft beer is I know there's been a dip in the market. There's been, the younger generation is not drinking like we are, but I also think that there's been, with the dip in the market, there's been a spike in quality. Right. Because there were fucking craft breweries everywhere 10 years ago. Everybody was starting a craft brewery. And I had plenty. So if you're not familiar with our rating scale, we do a very simple of okay, and fuck yeah. That was pretty much our 3 ratings.
Right on.
And it feels like when we started this, we had a lot more and a lot more fuck yeah. I think the fuck yeahs have gone down because our palates have grown to be like, okay, not every beer is the greatest beer we've ever had.
Right.
But there are also less low quality beers.
Right.
Some breweries have, I don't want anybody losing their livelihood, but some breweries have shut down. There's a local brewery that closed their doors and sold off all their equipment in the last few months. And I never had anything bad from them, but I also noticed, Joe and I noticed when we were trying one of their annual sampler packs, that every beer said malt beverage on it. And if you looked at the ingredients, you're like, oh, you're using artificial flavoring to get your...
Yeah.
And I was like, in a world where I have tried 100 beers that taste like a s'more, or they taste like raspberry cheesecake, or any of these different things, and it's all done using just malt, hops, and you're using extract, it just...
Right.
It didn't...
It's like cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I've seen some real true artists, like what you guys do, we've got a brewer here, Iron Hop, that's a buddy of Robert's, and he's still by himself, right?
I believe he is. Yeah.
He still
doing
does
it.
everything himself.
Wow.
He was the only craft beer at the Metallica concert.
Dang.
Yeah, which was really fucking
Heck
cool.
yeah.
He's the official black Battlehawks.
Yeah, he has the official Battlehawks beer.
Wow.
And he does German. He trained in Germany, but like the kind of stuff I see true brewers like you guys doing, where you get incredible flavor, and it's like, I don't want something that's got extract in it.
Yeah.
When,
Yeah, no, I get it. We have an IPA that's it's called Rearranged. If you're a Limp Bizkit fan,
I was just
right?
gonna ask if that was a Limp Bizkit.
and it's there's an orange flavor to it, but it's strictly from the hops.
Yeah.
You get that citrusy, and you're like, oh wow, did you add? Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
Four Hands is here in St. Louis. That's That's here. That's a St. Louis local St. Louis thing, right?
The Smack guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get some of their beers. They're good.
They have an incarnation that's an IPA.
Well, they've got several different incarnations. So their original incarnation, and then they do different flavors.
See, I didn't know that. It's been so long. The original, I don't like grapefruit, but man, if their beer doesn't taste like a grapefruit, I don't know what does. And it is super good. It is really, really good.
I always go to, like, if you try a traditional, like, Weiss beer, a lot of times one of the most notable flavors is it tastes like banana bread. So several companies do this. Chad has one. There's a brewery in Cincinnati I've loved for a long time called Moorliner. And they're not really craft. They've been around since my dad was a kid. But if you try it, like, when it's done traditionally and has the right malt and the right grain, it tastes like banana bread. Well, one of this company that closed in St. Louis, they had a beer that kind of tastes like banana bread, but you read it and you're like, extract. Well, I'm never going to drink that beer.
Gross.
Because, other people are doing that by just science and going to brew school and knowing what they're doing and being able to bring out those flavors. It's a fucking science. It's an art and a science all in one.
Right.
And I love that. And you guys, I mean, that Warbeard. Yeah, I'm going to have
fire.
to...
That's good.
I'm going to have to get some of that for St. Patty's Day.
Dude, we can make a trip. Dude,
yeah.
Wichita's not that far. How far did you say Wichita was?
It's 7 hours.
7 hours
so-
from here.
7 hours?
So it's about 100. You said 150 miles from KC.
Yeah, to El Dorado, yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could just walk across the street to the van. I've got some extra 6-packs.
Well, no, I'm talking about when the more beard comes out.
Oh yeah.
That I'm gonna have to get some more beard.
I'll take some more of this. Warbeard, that is fire. It's good.
Yeah.
It is really good.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to find. So, is more beard only going to be distributed this year in El
It's
Dorado or
gonna
in the Wichita
be in
area?
the Kansas side.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we can arrange for care packages.
Ooh,
you just don't do USPS. That's federal.
Yeah.
That's a federal issue.
Yeah.
We will delete this previously recorded broadcast.
Yeast samples.
I
go.
will
Yeah,
not
there you go.
confirm nor deny that I have ever. Yeah, you just don't use the U.S. Postal Service.
No.
When I worked in a liquor store up in Massachusetts, there was cool stuff up there that you can't get down here.
Oh, always,
that I sent my buddy.
That's the beauty of the regions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was a beer up there, Hetty Topper.
Oh, yeah. Had that.
Yeah. For the longest time, it was considered like the first or second best beer in the country or something like that.
Now, BJ, what is this?
Better Late Than Never, which is aptly named as a hazy IPA. We were not the first brewery.
It smelled like a...
We were not the first brewery to do a hazy IPA, clearly. And we were pretty reluctant for a change because we looked at that. We were like, well, somebody's filter broke. Because we're used to making good, clean beers. But this is our version of a hazy IPA. 7.4.
It's got a little bit of a juicy smell to
Yep.
it.
Yeah, as soon as I opened it up, I'm like, ooh, that smells like... I could smell that it was an IPA.
Oh, Asmer.
Oh, man.
Still has a little bit of hop at the end, but it's pretty smooth.
It's a little sweet.
Yeah, kind of like
I
me.
like that.
Yeah, that's very interesting because it does kind of finish a little sweeter
Yeah.
than a lot of other IPAs. I'm not used to that kind of lingering sweetness.
I'm not either, and I like it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Diabetes.
my name's Walter Brimley, and I have the diabetes.
I'm Wilford Brimley.
Wilford Brimley.
I'm Wilford Brimley, and I've got diabetes.
I was in Cocoon, and Cocoon 2.
Our cat is pre-diabetic, and I've been calling him Wilford ever since we found out. My wife's like, "Why do you keep fucking calling him Wilford?" I'm like, "I'm Wilford Brimley. I got diabetes."
Was your cat's A1C out of whack or what?
I do not fucking know. So first of all, my cat cost me $4,000 at one point because he had like crystals in his bladder or some shit.
No.
So
Wait, is it your wife's cat or your cat?
it's my wife's cat.
Yeah, okay, that's why.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and also the emergency room, they got you by the nuts at those pet emergency rooms.
Yeah.
Because you then they're like, what are you going to do? You going to fucking kill
Oh,
it?
yeah. Right.
And it's not like he's an old cat. He's 5 years old.
Yeah.
And so we take him to the emergency room, and I'm at work, and my wife's like, hey, so here's what's wrong with him. It's going to cost. He's like, I'm going to send you the bill. I pull up the bill, and I go, fucking Christ, $5,000. And she's like, well, hold on. I said, it might not be all of that. I go, okay, well, what are our options? She's like, well, either we do it or they put him down, and that's still going to cost us money. I'm like, well, bring him home. I got a 22. I'll take care of it. She's like, you're not shooting my fucking cat. So I'm like, all right,
But she didn't
fine.
appreciate that too much.
No, not at all. She didn't find that. In the moment, she was in tears.
Yeah, no.
She did not find
Yeah.
the 22 funny.
No, I get that.
But so then she calls me and she's like, I got really good news. I'm like, what? She's like, it only costs $4,000. Oh,
And
wonderful.
And they take Visa.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank God. And so, like, she took it to the vet the other day just for its normal checkup. And so we had to put him on a special diet. And apparently that special diet has now given him fucking diabetes.
Damn.
So, can you talk about the process on this one a little bit? Because this is really unique. I've never had an IPA that was this sweet. Usually they have like a not
What
a bitter,
what
but
hops
a
are in this?
Well, I could tell you, but I have to kill you.
Are they proprietary?
Fairly.
Ooh. Ooh.
nice.
So
I do like that. Are you guys are you growing your own?
no, Kansas. While it can grow hops, it's not too hospitable.
Yeah, they're more of like a northern.
Yeah, so you get Northwest.
Yeah, Northwest.
Now, I say that you can grow hops in Kansas,
Yeah.
like Cascade, and there are several varieties that grow well. In fact, we had some on the west side of the building, but they can be expensive.
Yeah.
And if you're maybe doing like a whole hop for one batch, well, we're a production brewery, and
right.
people expect that beer to be the exact same every time they open
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Can you tell me the region they're from?
So, yes, a couple regions.
Okay.
Northwest in the Americas and in New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Good.
I mean it just kind of got a fruity sweetness to it and a little bit of a floweriness to it. It's just a very unique hazy IPA. Which is why what's the name? Not first.
better late than
Better
never.
late than never. Shit.
Yeah.
Better late than never. You're goddamn right. Because you guys did it differently than everyone else is doing. Again, everybody's got a hazy IPA. It's been a while since I've had a bad hazy IPA. But, and Rob, you can speak to this a little bit more because I'm a hophead. I love hoppy beers.
Yeah.
You're not as much as Joe and I are.
I'm not, but I love my IPAs.
Yeah.
Like the Incarnations one, and then Perennial here in St. Louis has a really good hazy IPA that I got completely annihilated on one night with Oscar from Shicker. He had to drive me home.
Oh, yeah.
It was bad. It was real bad.
Oscar's a
professional.
He's a professional craft beer drinker.
Yes, he
He knows someone at every brewery in St. Louis.
Every brewery in St. Louis. He is the man to know if you're into craft brewery.
That's
in
awesome.
St. Louis. But anyway,
Yeah, and he doesn't. He's a car salesman that he just that's what he does. He gets off work and he goes and drinks craft beer.
Yeah. But
my kind of guy.
Yeah.
yeah, but this is probably. I'd have to drink another one to claim it to be my favorite.
Oh, it sucks. You
And I'm
tell
not
all
trying
the
to
ladies
bribe
that.
you. I'm not trying to bribe you on that, but this might literally be my favorite IPA that I've had because it's different and it's. I bet I could get shit face wasted on this quick.
7.4, 16
Oh, yeah.
ounce. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This will mess up your bass fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. This you'll be seeing double real quick.
Could probably drink
So,
maybe two.
You'll
of
be
those.
hooking your buddy's lip real fast.
Don't stand that close to me. We do have a West Coast IPA in the fridge over there. It is a 7.7 Highbeam.
What color? I'll just bring it over.
I'll just bring them all over.
Yeah, I'll just bring it
Why
over.
not?
So
And that was one of our OG original beers that we started with.
yeah. So how many beers total do you guys have right now? Like production.
With seasonals, in the course of a year, we'll probably spit out 20 to 25.
Okay.
But we've got like 5 core beers, which
Yeah.
we've been trying core. In fact, the hazy IPA is going to be core starting this next year.
Okay.
So, yeah. The Highbeam is in there. Going to be kind of a little golder colored there. No, that's the citrusy. Keep going. Should be in there.
Oh, I think I see it.
So
Velvet tracks too.
No, maybe. Oh, it's on the end, across from that one. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
you said velvet tracksuit.
yeah,
That was you guys.
yeah.
I've had that before. Dude,
What?
Joe is the guy that remembers everything we've ever had.
Okay.
I'm terrible at this, but velvet tracksuit. I swear to God, I've had this beer before.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty
Joe,
darn. It's an oatmeal stout.
Do you guys do you guys distribute in like Arkansas ever?
No, just Kansas and Missouri right now.
He must have picked that up somewhere.
We did a little bit in Wyoming. That was like pre-COVID, and then COVID happened, and our distributor got sold to another distributor, and blah blah blah. But so this is my go-to, as long as we're not fishing a lot.
Yeah.
Because it
just.
yeah, and would you believe on all of these beers, we actually
Might have poured too much of that.
yeah, you're good. I am familiar with the flavor.
If you need to adjust that, just
What only happens after I move it so I can get up and
might be too long, so that
yeah.
nut there, yeah, loosen that and then shorten it. There you go.
These are
I know how to play with a nut.
says 64
Familiar.
64 IBUs and 7.7 ABV, and it's Falconer's Flight hops, which means nobody knows what the hell it is because it's a blend and they will not tell us. but
Yeah,
but it's the same blend every time. So
I have found that in the different books I read and the different, there's a lot of hops where, like, isn't there a number one? There's a couple of number ones, but there's one that sticks out that's like, it's just called like number 63 or some shit.
oh yeah, they just
yeah. And
I mean,
you're
they
like,
got
oh, okay.
it's like
Thanks.
Bob's hops. Yeah, they got a name or a number for everything.
It's almost worse than weed names.
Yeah, so
Because
what do
right.
you know about the hops? You said it was a blend.
It is a blend.
So
It
where
is
do you
a
get them from?
proprietary blend? Hopsteiner. I hit some Hopsteiner, or we go through. So Country Malt does our grain, but they also have a hop side as well.
So there's companies that's all they do is they produce.
Oh yeah,
hops
and
and
yes, no, that's
grain.
big time. In fact,
Well, I mean, think
There-
about how many breweries there are.
yeah.
there were 10,000 of us. We were at Craft Brewers Conference in Minneapolis 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and we were at the Hopsteiner party, and they bought out Surly for the night. And
That's a cool place.
It is a nice place, and
Yeah.
we were the Kansas brewery guys were there,
Yeah.
and we were drinking and eating for free, and I happened to know the Hopsteiner guy at that point, and I said, "Dude, Steve, like, how much you spend last night?" He's like, "It was 6 figures."
Damn.
I was like, "Wow."
Yeah.
Wow.
If you ever want to come to Walnut and spend six figures, you let me know.
So it's a blend. So it's a blend of two different kinds of hops,
It could be
or
multiple. Yeah.
or more. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
they
more.
won't disclose.
They will not tell us, but we know it's the same blend every time.
Yeah,
Yep.
that makes sense.
But it is called Falconer's Flight if you
Yeah.
want to try it for yourself. But yeah.
So when you get those hops, are they like processed
So
already?
we do the pelletized.
You get the pellet.
Yeah.
Pellets. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
bunny food.
Yeah.
And the reason is it honestly in the freezer they hold up quite well. Whole hop has its own. I mean, you can do that, but you can only do it really about once a year.
Yeah.
Because of like sediment.
Fresh hop. Well, fresh hop is just hop harvest is once a year. And
Oh,
so
gotcha.
that's
Okay,
when
okay,
I
I
do
see
it.
what
But
you're saying.
and fresh hop is fantastic, by the way.
And if you don't know, a lot of people don't know this, but Rob, you'll appreciate this. Hops are in the same. I forget my biology, but genus or family is marijuana.
Yeah.
So they look similar. They kind of feel similar right off of the vine because they grow. A lot of times they grow up on a vine. We saw them at
Right.
fucking Sandy Valley.
Sandy Valley.
Yeah. So, but you harvest them less than marijuana. Marijuana plant you can harvest it probably twice a year, whereas the hop takes a long time. You can only harvest it once a year, and I mean it's a bud, so it will dry out. It will wilt. It could mold if you don't keep it. That's why the pellets are what you typically use.
Yep.
You dry it out, turn it into a pellet. You can freeze dry it, throw it in the freezer. It'll keep. Fresh hop is, again, you got to pretty much use it. So Sierra Nevada is a big brewery that they always do their celebration.
Celebration, that's right.
Celebration every year is their fresh hop beer. Comes in a red box every year around this time, if I'm not mistaken.
I
Yeah.
just had one a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Great beer.
Yeah, and that's why you don't see a lot of it is because you
Okay.
could only get it once a year if you did it that way.
Yeah.
And the hoppier the beer, for us, on our IPAs, we only go 150 days, where on our other beers, we go 180.
Okay.
And so, it's the IPAs that we give it 150. Now, you get a big Imperial Stout. I mean, we'll put 720 on that. I mean, it'll go several years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you said you're barrel aging your Russian Imperial?
We have a version of that here tonight.
Okay. How long was that aged?
That was a little over a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd you get the barrels from? Any particular? Is it a particular
Well,
bourbon
When
or
it-
whiskey?
when a daddy barrel and a mommy barrel love each other very much. We can't tell you, but if you were to go and say purchase a bourbon that had say red wax on it,
Okay.
it might be similar.
Okay. Fair
Never know.
enough.
Never know.
No, yeah,
It's possible.
but they don't like us to use your name, so
No, with a brand that might maybe have red wax, I could see them being that way because I know some beers will say aged in fucking like we've got a bourbon place across the river, Stumpy's.
okay.
It's actually a very good Midwestern bourbon, and I forget what brewery here, but like they partnered with a brewery and
Nice.
local, nice.
Yeah, we've been looking for a great distiller to do some bourbon barrels. There's a couple around in Kansas, but they're not as numerous as you'd find in other states.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to get to that because you have to distill something like a vodka or something you can sell immediately, right?
Right.
Because bourbon takes a couple of years. I mean, you could, in theory, I don't think bourbon law requires a certain time. Maybe it's 6 months. No. I know it requires charred oak, and you can only use it once. But I don't recall if there's an actual time limit on it being called bourbon. But nobody wants a bourbon that was aged for 6 months.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's where coming to distilleries, I mean, I'm sure it was very hard to become a brewery. But you can technically make product in 30, 60,
Exactly.
Whereas distilling, if you're trying to make an aged whiskey.
Right. And you're paying taxes on it.
Yeah.
From the get-go.
Yeah.
So that's where.
Really. So like as a brewer, where as soon as you mix that mash and all that.
So we have, well, not for us. We have a tax determination tank, and so what that is it's our bright tank, and you are required by federal law to have a tank that you take your measurements in and on what you produce. And we have 3 30-barrel bright tanks, so they hold 930 gallons at a time.
Okay.
And on them, you'll see tax determination. And we go exactly by, on a 30-barrel, it may be 29.5 gallons or 29.5 barrels or whatever. So we pay taxes on that.
What are you paying taxes on the alcohol that's created?
Is
that what it is?
So you've got state gallonage and federal gallonage. So before it gets sold to anybody, we pay taxes just for making it. Even if we dump it, we have to pay taxes on it.
No kidding.
Yeah. So if it's going to be a bad batch of beer, we try it before it gets to the tax determination tank. And I can count on one hand how many batches we've ever dumped.
Yeah.
So just because we have fantastic brewers that, one of them was during COVID, or actually 2 of them, because we didn't know what was going on. We vacated the brewery, and they just stayed in the tank too long, and they were drinkable, but they weren't.
Not what you want to.
They
weren't
our beer, right? And they were like, meh, dump it. So, on that, is there a one that says Kuvalda on there?
Is this the Kuvalda?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Opposite in the middle, opposite side.
So flip it around. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't burn yourself on that fake candle. That.
Well, there is drinking done down here a lot, so we got to keep the fire to
an Auburn Hammer.
Yeah. So that was the Auburn Spirits was the liquor store that went in with us on this. Oh. And you've had the Russian Imperial, which is 12%. The barrel doesn't add a lot to alcohol, by the way. It's kind of a misnomer. It may add a little bit, or if you've left a pint or 2 in there, that does make a difference. But,
well, it will seep a little bit of the devil's cut, right?
So, yeah, you'll get, yes, you'll definitely get a little bit more alcohol, but not as much as people think. So, funny story on the on the barrels. So, we originally started with wine barrels, and Travis, we'll leave a little bonus in here in case somebody wants it. Travis would light these sulfur tablets, and you light them and stick them in the wine barrel so that if you're keeping them for, a couple weeks, couple months, you don't grow any mold or anything. And then I see him. We get our first bourbon barrel. Mm-hmm. It was a 4 Roses barrel, actually. And I see him light the sulfur tablet, and I was like, and it was almost like slow-mo, like, no. And then it goes in, and all I see is fire and legs, man. And he is down the alley. It shot a flame out of that thing, probably 8 feet tall. It was awesome.
I bet.
So
I bet.
Yeah.
That's all alcohol fumes.
Right. There was a little bonus left in the bottom, and yeah. So anyway, so it was fun.
And we talk a lot of sometimes we'll talk terminology, and so if you don't know, devil's cut is what they call what seeps into the wood.
Right.
When you're making bourbon, it's what leaches into the wood, and it's what stays in there. And then there's a bourbon called Angel's Envy, and they say that when they're during the aging process, you lose alcohol just to the ether.
Right.
And that's what they call the Angel Share.
Yep.
So there's your little alcohol lesson for the day.
So it's got a very good taste to it. I can tell.
Yeah.
This is your stout, you said?
Imperial stout.
Imperial.
And it doesn't have Pop-Tarts and shit in it. It's a regular straight beer. Yeah. No adjuncts. No Cheerios, Rice Krispies.
It's pretty good.
I fucking love that. And don't get me, I do enjoy trying those every year.
Oh, sure.
But
I've had tricks.
Yeah.
I like it for cereal.
Yeah.
Not on my beer.
I don't like my lips to be covered in sugar drinking a beer that,
That's not what I heard about you.
I don't mind my lips being covered in sugar. It's just-
Well, it's funny because the first thing
but actually, she quit the club I normally went to. So,
Oh, okay, fair enough.
You know,
when I was on that IPA, the first thing I thought of was like a lemon with some sugar sprinkled on it. That was like my first thought of like, man, that'd be so good with that. Yeah.
So this is sweet.
It's
very
sweet.
It is, and those are just sugars from the malt. Those are not. We did not back sweeten it, any of that. So, and this beer, I can always tell when Rick's making it because he's like, "Damn it!" And it's a double mash day. It's a long day, and it's a huge grain bill. You know, we'll use twice as much grain in this and have half the output as we would in, say, our Highbeam.
yeah.
Which is 7. So you'd think that at 12% you would just use twice as much grain as you use about 4 times as much. Yeah.
So how big? When you're making a batch of this, how big is the tank? Like, how much are you making? Is he making at one time?
So we make 15 barrels, which is 465 gallons,
Okay.
and some of it goes into barrels, bourbon and other. And then we do a few kegs because we have a restaurant we're partnered with in Wichita, downtown, and then we also have a partnership with another brewery that we're partners in the other brewery. We don't own all of it by any means, and it's a small one in Augusta. There's like a little 1-barrel brew house. It's a great little place to go.
Yeah,
and so all those other places get to get that on tap as well.
Yeah.
So we've got homes for it.
And this would be good with a steak.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Or with
it is a steak.
chocolate.
I mean, this to me is just, it's a fucking it's a campfire.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I taste this and I taste sitting out next to a
S'mores.
campfire, smoking a fucking cigar.
Yeah.
That's actually what we did with this. A month ago we were down at Roaring River doing a little trout fishing.
Yeah.
Had some of this and a couple of stogies and the little fly fishing during the day and ate a lot of meat and had a campfire and just 4 of us
Got
guys
naked,
Nah,
smeared each other with trout's blood.
yeah, well, that would have been funny, but I mean, I've known Rick and Dave a long time, but
Little
I don't
Lord
know
of the
about
Flies
that.
action. Just,
Yeah,
No, I mean, this to me is sitting out back or sitting in the woods. Maybe I'll take a couple of shrooms later. I don't know. We'll see where the night goes.
It's a very good sippable beer too, right?
Yeah.
It is.
I don't think I would want to drink this too fast.
So this is the one I had 4 of, and the chicken was done, and so was I. Yeah,
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't
Ooh,
recommend it.
Nice roasted chicken with this would be good.
Yeah, a nice nap is what ended up being really good pairing with it.
Yeah.
So
Brownie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could mix this into a batter and make.
for sure.
You know.
Dude, I would like almost soak a brownie in this, right, and then serve like vanilla ice cream on it or something.
Now we
I think he's getting a little
also.
turned on.
It might be
But,
weird
I mean, desk is
No.
that desk is lifting up a little. We do make another beer, and it is it's similar to, but not quite as rich, called Ridiculous, and it is ridiculous. Think of an American Strong,
Okay.
so not an Imperial Stout,
Yeah.
but it's big, it's dark, it's also hoppy, 69 IBUs. It's also oak aged. I told Rick, I said, just make a ridiculous beer. And it is 9 different malts, 42 hop additions, oak aged. It's a beast. And the tap handle is 3 feet tall because we're just being stupid. So we got old ballasters you get at like Lowe's.
Yeah.
We drill tapped them and then put ridiculous on it. And it's, you walk up to the taps, you're like, what is that? I want that.
What's the ABV on that?
11.
Damn.
Wow.
So, yeah. And we're doing them in 4-pack, 16 ounce, but we're going to put them in a poster tube so that's really tall.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
That is funny.
Just because we're stupid like that.
I fucking appreciate it. Your beer guys
Have fun.
You have fun. Like the fuck else are you gonna
Right?
take? You gonna take beer too seriously?
Right, no,
Like,
exactly. Did you ever see was it Austin Beer Works? They had the 99 pack.
oh yeah, I was
Peacemaker.
just gonna say,
Yeah.
didn't Natty Light do something ridiculous too? But I know it was Austin Beer where it was 99.
Yeah.
and literally it would take like 3 friends to carry it out of
Right.
the fucking store, and it was a ridiculous price too. Just something where college kids could go buy it.
Well, I want to say it was like $99.
Yeah,
It was
I
cheap.
think you're right. I think you're right.
It was a
Yeah,
dollar a beer.
It was $1 a beer.
I ran into those guys at the Great American Beer Fest and high-fived them. I'm like, that was awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic marketing.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we love doing stuff like that. Just off the cuff, crazy. It's beer. It's marketing.
Yeah. If you're not having fun with beer, and that kind of ties me back to this podcast in general, because why we started this whole thing is there. Kind of what got me started into craft beer in St. Louis was a beer bar. That shit is rich, man.
It's rich.
And there are several of them in St. Louis, and it's not the one you're hosting at tomorrow. But they only served beer; they didn't serve food. And when I started going there, the pretentiousness of the craft beer crew at the time, just like, I had a buddy meet me there one time. Guy wasn't a beer guy, and he was like, "Can I get a Bud Light?" And they're like, the bartender, God love her, she was very nice. She's like, "Oh, we don't serve Bud Light here."
Yeah.
But like, I heard guys over at the end of the bar saying, "Did you hear that guy asking for a Bud Light?" I'm like, "Fuck off!"
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
who the fuck are you,
Dude, and that's, we just want people to be happy.
Yeah.
And drink what you like.
Yeah.
If you like our stuff, dude, we love that. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
But if you don't, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't really like beer, yet she owns part of a brewery.
My wife does not love beer either. It's,
Right.
but it is one of my greatest hobbies.
Yeah.
Trying to turn it into a thing. Like,
Yeah.
she doesn't like meat either. I make that, it's,
Oh, man.
but we started this whole thing to be just 2 guys that loved beer, to talk about it in a way that like didn't come off pretentious. I'm not sitting here and be like, "Oh, I get a sense of, do you taste a little bit of kumquat in there? I think they put a little sassafras in there." Like, oh, fuck off, dude. You're not, you would sit, the amount of times I would sit at this bar and I would just hear guys and they're pulling shit out of their ass. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that guy is getting a hint of saffron from that fucking beer, because I guarantee it's not in there, and I guarantee you that's not what it tastes like. But the other guy can't taste it, so if he says it, the other one's like, yeah, you're right.
Like, first off, what does saffron even taste like?
I don't fucking know. But so that was kind of like our whole thing with getting into this. It was like, let's do a show where we can talk about beer. First of all, let's get drunk let's get drunk and talk to each other and talk about beer. But also, like, let's talk about it in a way that normal guys,
Right.
Especially if you're not into craft beer.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we talk about it and rate it. Is like, hey, man, like the fucking Pilsner. Hey, if you're not a big fucking beer drinker, try the Kolsch. Like,
Right.
bet you'll like it. Yeah, I've introduced plenty of people to craft beer through beers like that. Where they're like, okay.
Actually, I get, okay. One more beer?
I was gonna say, do you want to do one more?
Just one
Yeah,
more.
you might want
One more.
You got 2 more. You got more glasses, because that's gonna.
No, actually, this beer, it'd probably follow it fine. Are you
I
guys
stand corrected.
Are you guys coffee guys?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, big time.
Okay, so the darker one is a coffee porter, Devil's Blend, and this actually gets more people to craft beer than a lager,
It wouldn't surprise me, because a lot of people are coffee drinkers.
particularly ladies.
Yeah.
It's just amazing because this has a cold brew coffee that we do, and it's locally roasted, not locally grown, of course. And it just,
Oh god, you can smell
it's,
it.
oh yeah,
Dude, it smells like a strong dark roast. Yeah, you smell that?
but it's not bitter. That's the kicker.
That tastes like I want a egg and bacon sandwich with it.
Yeah, it's a great breakfast
Dude.
beer. So we made this as a joke for Groundhog Day about 10 years ago. And it was coffee for spring, porter for winter, and
Ooh,
it was just
my
a
God.
Punxsutawney Phil.
Right?
And we really should have drank this first before but.
You know what?
You know what I like about this, Jim? How it's got a kind of a clean finish to it.
It does.
It kind of clean. It's like a clean finish, almost like the coffee itself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, this is my two favorite beverages combined.
I mean,
That's good.
that's fantastic.
And you're right. I could drink this in the morning if I was a freaking alcoholic. This is the beer.
Well,
that
I mean,
would
you don't have to be an alcoholic. You can, kegs and eggs, football Sundays, St. Patty's
No,
Day.
I'm talking like wake up. To get your day started, you got to
Yeah.
have a coffee.
We take it fishing.
Yeah.
It's
oh,
good.
yeah, I bet.
We couldn't figure out why we were selling this in the summer. And one guy, he looks at me, he's like, well, if you're camping and you don't want to make coffee, but you want to drink all day, this is what we do. And
That's
I'm like,
perfect.
dude, that never hit me until now.
Yeah. Slug a couple of these, grab my shotgun.
Yeah. It's 5.9. And
Okay.
there's 70 pounds of coffee goes into this batch.
Damn.
I don't know if it's because the last beer, the last one was so sweet, and this one is like it's a step back in
But
sweetness.
It's smooth.
It's very
coffee. It's just not. It's not bitter.
Yeah, it's like well brewed coffee that shouldn't be, I think a lot of people
I really like this.
I think a lot of people are used to kind of shitty coffee.
Yeah.
Like Starbucks is not good coffee. It's just not. But if you ever get like especially that was another thing, like during COVID, I would wake up, I would do my pour over coffee, like get it to the perfect temperature, do the slow pour over, I'd ground it myself. It takes that bitterness out of there. This is a good cup of coffee in a really good beer.
Right.
I can drink that in the morning.
Thank you.
If I took this camping, I'd be able to combine my three favorite drinks: coffee, beer, and a 12-gauge slug.
So yeah, this was
It's a little Kurt Cobain joke too.
yeah. This was
Suicide's not funny, kids.
that's true. No, this is just like I said, it was a fun kind of a joke of
I like this.
a joke of a beer that turned out pretty good for us.
One of my favorite things in talking to you that I found is like a lot of your beers have been kind of like jokes or let's fucking see if we can do this.
Yeah, a lot of
let's-
experimental.
Fuck it. Let's
Don't-
like your ridiculous beer.
But don't take yourself too serious.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, so this is terrible. This is a bad story, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So in elementary school, I went by Brady. Brady is my given name. James, middle name, Hunt.
It's a solid.
Yeah,
solid
it's a good name. It's a good name. But in elementary, I didn't appreciate it because I got tired of being called the Brady Bunch. I mean, that was a terrible name.
Yeah.
Who could think of a better name? Well, let's go by my initials in middle school. Well, first day of middle school, no idea. Second day, had a real good idea that maybe that was a bad choice. and it's, let's be honest, it's BJ Hunt. It sounds like I'm searching for fellatio.
Yeah.
So you
I mean,
can't
who's
take
not?
yourself right. You can't take yourself too serious here. And I brought this on myself.
Boys, we're on BJ Hunt.
I'm 48
You know what
years
I'm saying?
old, right? This is still
Yeah.
a topic of discussion. I'm like, whatever, that's a bad life choice.
Oh, we are very juvenile here.
Yeah,
at this
no, you-
podcast.
But
You fit right at the brewery, so
want to talk about something that I just learned this while I was in Florida until yesterday. I got back yesterday.
oh, nice.
With my parents, and we were talking about this. It's very interesting to me that your name is, you said Brady James.
Yeah.
I'm adopted. My name is James.
Okay.
My given birth name before I was adopted was Brady.
Was it
No
really?
kidding.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Was that given
And-
to you by your
Yep.
paternal
And
mother?
my maternal mother.
Maternal.
Biological.
Sorry, biological
mother.
Maternal mother.
Maternal mother. Paternal mother. Was
My
weird, too.
paternal mother.
Yeah, my biological mother. It was because she had to give me a name. Be like, hey, she can't just be like, I'm giving baby up for adoption. So my name was Brady. On top of that, my mother, my biological mother, is from she was here from Kansas.
Right.
Whoa. All right.
Yeah.
Wichita?
K-State, so Manhattan.
Manhattan, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
By way of Nebraska, so my family is my biological family is in Nebraska.
Right. Do you stay in contact with them or no?
I talked to a couple of my aunts, a couple of my cousins. Mom doesn't want to know me, which is fine. Cool.
Okay.
Turns small story to that. Turns out, so I am 35, and when I first started talking to my biological family, my cousin was like, "Hey, I think you're our cousin, my cousin, and my grandma told me we had a cousin we didn't know about." And I was like, "Oh yeah," and she's like, "Well, I'm guessing that's you." I'm like, "Yep, here I am." About 2 years later, find out I have a half sister through 23andMe, the same way I found them.
Bonus.
And she's 10 years younger than me. At which point we go, I'm pretty sure that's the cousin that your grandma knew about. And so it turned into a whole other thing where now the family doesn't even talk to my biological mother.
Oh.
Yeah. So I kind of was like, hey, I don't want to cause nothing there.
Don't need to play Maury Povich.
Yeah. Which they're like, hey, it's not your fault. I'm like, but let's just, what?
Yeah.
Jim, I hate to cut family ties, but we are coming up on our time limit, and we still have to go. We still kind of have to discuss which one. So,
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so Rob.
Yeah. I mean,
let me ask you your.
We did 5. Dang.
Ask you your second, first, and best in show.
Ooh, okay. So the second.
And you will not offend me, I promise.
No, I'm gonna give you an honest opinion.
Please do.
I, as a creator, I have found that the hardest critique to get is an honest or negative opinion, right? Because everyone's afraid of like hurting somebody's feelings or something like that. I'm like,
dude,
if it sucks, I want to know that it fucking sucks.
As
right?
somebody that always loved cooking, and it's a passion of mine. I always hated cooking for my parents because they were like. Especially my barbecue. Like, I love to smoke. My parents are never going to be honest. My brother, I'll cook for him and be like, yeah, man, ribs were good. Could have used a little more smoke. Or, this. I'm like, fucking thank you. Hey, that's what I'm looking for. I don't want mom and dad to go, it was great. Thanks. You did such a good job.
So,
fuck off.
The what is that? The Highbeam?
Highbeam, yes.
Highbeam is my second because that was one of the best IPAs I've ever had, with it being the sweetness, right?
No. You're thinking about. I think you're thinking
of the New England style. Hazy,
better late than never.
Better late.
Okay,
yes,
better
sir.
late than never is probably my second because that was probably one of the best IPAs I've ever had.
Right on, man.
My first would have to be the Warbeard.
Okay.
Because that was a damn good.
Yeah.
Red. What is it? The Irish Red? Is it?
Irish Red.
Irish Red. Okay.
And
it was really good. It was
here's a fun fact. It's technically a little out of bounds as an Irish Red. The ABV is a half point to a point too high.
Okay.
So it does not win awards. But it, we judge it by our checking account. We sold like 20,000 cases of that in Wichita. It was so much
fuck your gold medal.
Right.
But I think the best in show, because it was like really good.
Thanks, man.
And I would drink it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Is that Devil's?
Oh, like that, eh?
Devil's Blend.
So that's actually not slated to come to Missouri, but I mean, we can change that.
I would recommend.
That was
because
I was expecting it to be heavy. I was expecting it to be a little sweeter than what it was. And then when I took that first sip, the way it finished, it was like I like coffee. Like Trader Joe's has the chocolate covered espresso beans.
Oh yeah,
and I'll sit there and chew on them.
Was there today?
I could only imagine sitting here chewing on those with that. And that best in show would have to be that. That's where I would go because it was that damn good.
So I'll start by saying they're all absolute fuck yeahs. There was not an or an okay in the batch. They were all strong fuck yeahs for me. The second is going to be the Russian Imperial. It always is. To me, especially because any beer for me that can kind of trigger a specific, like, I drink this beer and I want to be doing this thing. So sitting out back with my solo stove and a nice cigar and just chilling with fall leaves and shit, that's going to always be a top.
See, I felt like that with this though, with the Devil's Brew.
Devil's Blend.
Devil's Blend. Because,
And you could have twice as many of those.
Well, the reason, because I could sit here and like fuck around with my graphic design and my video editing and all that and drink that.
I will definitely say that's an honor. The Devil's Blend,
guys. I'm telling you,
Devil's
it's
Blend
fire.
is honorable mention for me.
It's really good.
Right on.
My second is going to be the better late,
Okay.
and then my best in show is going to be Warbeard.
All right.
Always is. I love the Warbeard. We got time real quick to grab that bottle of mead and have him try some mead real quick.
We got about 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, grab the mead real quick. We'll
Right
do
on.
a quick sip of mead. These are these mugs clean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These?
No, these.
Oh no.
Oh no, they're not.
Let me grab some.
Right on. There's still a few beers left for you there, so whoever can take those home.
So, while he's rooting around for that, I'll do the quick. So remind us about the taste, the tap takeover tomorrow.
Yeah, Crafty Chameleon. I believe trivia starts at 7, and we say takeover just to be clear. It's a couple of beers on tap, right? We're not taking over all the taps, but we're gonna hang out. We're flying a marketing guy in, who's way better looking than I am, and
What are you talking about?
oh, I'm telling you, I'm just lucky that my wife still is married to me, frankly. So. She tells me to turn the lights off all the time. I don't know what that's about.
I just started doing that on my own years ago.
Yeah, no. Shoot, we've been dating since we were 17. Close?
Yeah, but it don't. This is not a normal wine key, so it doesn't have the little.
Oh, yeah, no extra lever. Don't rip your boob off.
That actually lose me probably 10 pounds. So, you know.
Oh, it's
And then you're going to be distributing in.
Yeah, so Bommarito Wines is actually distributing for us.
Okay.
And they cover the entire state of Missouri.
Yeah.
So they were originally, of course, a wine house, and then there it is, and then a little spirits, but they're moving into beer, and they've got maybe 10 or a dozen brands of beer that they represent. So, and funny enough, the connection on all that was, I talked to Fran Caradonna, who was, she originally had started O'Fallon. They sold it, and then she was the CEO of Schlafly recently. And I reached out to her. I think she's also in the Missouri Craft Brewers Guild, and I'm in the Kansas Craft Brewers Guild.
Yeah.
And on the board, unfortunately. And so.
Oh, who doesn't love sitting on those kinds of
Right,
boards?
right.
Aren't they
No, I
fun?
mean, they actually are, because you get to drink beer with your friends. But I'm on a couple of boards, and it's sometimes,
yeah.
you got other things to do.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, and then she introduced me to a fellow who used to work with her, who is now at Bommarito, and so it's just connections, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the same way in life.
Yeah.
There's just connections everywhere, and
Well, I mean, that's all we're trying to do is, make connection. I mean, this whole thing is started with connections.
yeah.
That's how, we plan to create our little business. Like I said, ultimately our plan, if we could find a way to fund an RV around the country and
Heck yeah.
a driver and our producer and cameraman and
There you go.
I mean, that'd be the fucking dream.
If I did that, I have to do it like in the fall and the winter, right? Because it's like the best time to be drinking beer, in my opinion.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we could put a Warbeard sticker on it and then just send you like a case of beer every month. You just let me know where you're at.
All right, I mean, hey,
We're in Delaware.
Hey.
Okay.
we've got our first sponsor. We've got free beer.
Yeah.
And as long as we put a Warbeard sticker on it, we're starting. All right.
Like
our first and best.
Not a little bitty one. Not a little.
No. First of all, you see this face? I'm going to put a giant fucking Warbeard sticker on it.
Actually, there's some of those.
Oh,
you sticker guys?
Dude, straight up. I love stickers.
There you go, man.
I'll take one of those and leave the rest here.
Heck yeah.
I'll
leave them right here.
I'll hand them out to the crew.
Hand those out to the KC beer guys when they come.
I can do that. Like here, compliments of.
You don't happen to. You guys don't happen to make baby onesies, do you?
No, not yet.
So this real quick, we'll as we kind of close out here, I just want to. So these are friends of ours. This is Four Brothers, the biggest meadery in Missouri.
Yeah.
Four former veterans. This is Freyr's Harvest, so this is kind of perfect for the season right now. This is their orange and cranberry mead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This is actually kind of relevant because this was the Four Brothers episode was the first episode that I got involved with Jim and Joe.
And
they'd been doing their kind of own thing, and then I came along and kind of helped them out with.
And we like to introduce them to people because they're more relevant even than that. They're the first company that asked us to come out.
Okay.
Because when they started their business, they opened their tap room in February or March of 2020.
Okay.
And then the world shut down. And so they were left with a tap room they couldn't do a whole lot with. And so they were there making their mead. And at night they'd have us on Instagram. We were doing Instagram lives. And they would apparently put us up on their screen on Instagram Live and just watch and interact with us.
Right
and
on.
they were like the first alcohol company that interacted with us and we became friends with. That's cool. So they invited us down. Joe and I went down there with just a little task cam and just recorded ourselves at their meadery. And now they threw a festival a couple of weekends ago. How many people did they say come to that? I mean, I
think they said it was like 30,000 people.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
In one day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it starts at like what? It started at like 10.
Yeah.
And it went till like 9 o'clock at night.
Where is it? Where is this festival?
It's down in Festus every year. So they do
down south, yeah.
Yeah, so they do 2 a year. They do Siegelblatt, which is summer, and then they do Meat on Main, which was like 3 weeks ago.
30,000.
Yeah. I mean, they've got guys forging knives. They've got people doing armor fights. They've got 100 different vendors. You can buy everything from battle axes to Viking shields to mead slushies to beer, turkey legs.
Yes. Yes.
It's legit.
It's like a mini Ren fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they went from they made like 6 meads and they were bullshitting with us on Instagram, and so we love to introduce anybody we can to their product, especially
that's
when
awesome.
somebody's willing to share their stuff with us.
Heck yeah.
We don't have I don't have any of our own product, and we're not selling it anyway. So, cheers.
Cheers, man.
Yeah.
Robert, you got anything you want to push?
No. Well, I do have one last question for BJ.
That does not suck.
No.
What do you think?
That's high praise at the brewery, by the way.
Is this your first time to St. Louis?
No.
What do you like St. Louis? You like coming to St. Louis? What do you like most about it?
Not your pizza. Sorry.
Okay, you know what? you both of you motherfuckers can get out.
Cracker pizza. Sorry.
It's crackers with cheese and toppings.
Yeah.
Bye. Goodbye. That's the end of the show.
That's funny shit.
You're not the first person to say that, and not the first person that I've heard that.
You're not fucking wrong.
But I've been to New York and had pizza. I've been to Chicago pizza.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know what's funny? We've got a good Chicago style pizza here in my neighborhood called Blackthorn.
Blackthorn is dope.
And it takes like an hour to get your damn pizza.
Oh yeah, it takes forever, but it is so worth it.
No, we didn't understand that. Why am I still talking about this? We didn't understand that. We took couples trip to Chicago.
Yeah.
Are we still going?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you legit shut it off.
Oh,
are you serious?
Yeah,
I thought you did too.
Because I thought that was the funniest ending possible.
Over the fact that you didn't like St. Louis style pizza. I'm totally a fat guy. I'm just like, nah, I'm done.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
I thought I saw you hit the button and everything. No, we go to Chicago and we go to it was either Gino's or Giordano's, one of those.
Gino's East, Gino's West, and then
Right.
there's like Lou Malnati's.
And we get there like mid-afternoon, but at the time, which I had crappy airfare, so we had to drive to Kansas City to take a flight. We were hungry, right?
Yeah.
And we go in and we order. Well, we're hungry. We order 2 pizzas, which was a mistake. It was 2 couples. I'm like, it's $78. What the hell,
Fucking
man?
lasagnas.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it comes out, and this stuff is like, oh
Yeah.
my God. It's so thick.
Yeah.
And I had a piece and a half, and I'm a fat kid. I can eat some
Oh, I
stuff.
can throw it out
Yeah.
too.
Dude, we
can
walked
throw it out,
out with a pizza and a quarter, and I'm
yeah.
like, I'll give it to a homeless guy. He'll be happy.
Yeah.
He won't even have to sell the newspapers. He'll just be excited.
Yeah.
It was so much.
And see, in that same vein, Chicago's. I also know Chicago people are like, that's not what we eat. Like, that's what tourists eat, and it's what they like get occasionally. Bar pie, there's a whole thing. But like, to me, New York style pizza is
Pretty. Pretty. Like,
Get a slice and a Coke.
yeah,
yeah. Slice in a Coke, eh?
a slice and a Coke.
Coke.
But I just St. Louis. Look, I understand. I've lived here since I was like 10 years old, minus a year in Massachusetts or back in Massachusetts. But I don't care how long I live here. You're never going to convince me that it's good pizza. I'll eat it. I'm fat, so if somebody puts it in front of me, I'm eating it. But you know,
I thought we were friends, Jim.
you've heard me have this.
Aye.
Now again, I'll tell you this also. I grew up eating a lot of shit from Cincinnati. One of my favorite. You ever been to Cincinnati?
Not on purpose.
You ever had Skyline chili?
I've had Skyline chili before.
Wait, is that the messed up spaghetti?
Well, you can get it with spaghetti, but they also
Yeah.
they make chili dogs. Like that's
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. But the chili itself, it's Greek inspired, so a lot of people are like think it tastes fucking disgusting. So I get it. Like you grew up, you love fucking Emo's pizza.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay,
I grew
okay.
up eating chili,
So you-
Cincinnati chili, and people fucking hate it.
You don't like the pizza boat. What St. Louis fare do you like?
I mean, dude, you guys have some great steakhouses.
Yeah.
You have a lot of good culture too.
Yeah.
That because keep in mind, St. Louis is like 5 times bigger than Wichita.
Yeah.
So if you want good Mediterranean, you can find it. Now you're gonna have to drive like 19 hours in the same town to get to it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was super surprised. I'm like, to get to here from like way south,
You know, yeah.
it was 22 minutes. I'm like, it's only 10
I will
miles.
take that as a very, very huge compliment coming from a Wichita, Kansas guy because, especially on the steakhouses.
Yeah.
Because I hear you can get a mean ass steak in Wichita.
Yeah, you can, but you can here too.
Yeah.
Can.
Right.
Okay.
Well, St. Louis is becoming known for its eclectic food scene, which is awesome.
Yeah.
There are a lot of chefs doing a lot of cool shit with a lot of different ethnic foods that you wouldn't think would thrive in St. Louis.
Right.
Like your first thought of St. Louis is not ethnic food of any kind, for that matter.
Yeah, but there's just so many different kinds of people here.
Yeah,
you know,
and it does well. As far as I thought it was funny because you're right. Once you get anywhere near city or South City, because I live 10 minutes from here, it's not super easy to get around city, South City, any of that. I mean, it takes a minute. There's a lot of fucking lights and bullshit.
Stop sign.
And then the
Well,
highways that do
people don't-
surround us.
People don't stop at the stop signs or stop lights anyway.
No.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Be careful at the stoplights.
Yeah.
If you have a green, that doesn't mean this.
Yeah.
Check both ways before you cross.
Yeah, I saw a dude past everybody in the turn lane.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
He ran a red light.
Yeah. No, he actually stopped.
Oh, you
That one
stopped.
stopped. But he didn't have a muffler, though. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. No cat.
Shit was loud.
Yeah.
But, no. St. Louis has been a great town.
Yeah.
And I've been here a handful of times. Love it. Staying in the St. Charles area. Very walkable. Like to go to the old Millstream Inn. It was kind of fun. I don't know if you've been there. It's,
Oh, yeah, we go there all the time. Hey,
Dude,
you like
hub.
hot chocolate?
yeah. I'm
There's
a fat
a
kid.
Sugar Bot ice cream parlor there on Main Street in
Okay.
St. Charles. Has the best hot chocolate you can ever find.
Okay.
Which place?
Sugar Bot is kind of at the north end.
Okay.
there
Toward
is-
the rock climbing place.
Yeah.
There is
Okay.
a sweets shop there that my wife worked at many, many years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's called Sugar Bot,
No,
it's a
I
really
think it's
cool
called like Riverside Sweets or something. That we always go and get like fudge.
Okay, yeah, that's a little further down. That's like further down south. So it's just like probably 4 or 5 blocks.
Yeah,
north.
Riverside Sweets.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're wanting all kinds of candy,
Yeah.
go check out Riverside
That would.
Sweets.
I will
They
probably
got
take some back for my son. He's
Chocolate covered Oreos.
Okay.
And
Don't
all
listen.
kinda-
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. You gotta go Sugar Bot now. They had the old this place has it's the old soda fountain.
Oh, those
feel
are
to
cool.
it, okay.
They got
And-
soda jerks and all that too.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. And the whole
Okay.
shebang.
The garb.
whole
Yeah.
garb. But what they have is like the old school candies.
Yeah.
So it's not like
okay.
fudge. It's like the whole old school
Like
they still have candy cigarettes there.
Yeah.
Wow.
These are homemade sweets. Like Riverside
Yeah, yeah.
is Riverside is your
Fudge
fudges,
and caramel.
Okay.
caramels, and
so they got like
Ice cream.
Neckos and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
do you like
I
a
got
Necco
you.
wafer?
I don't, but my mom does, so I always get them for her.
I was a weird. Like I always hear people shit on them. I was like,
They're
I haven't
okay.
had one in probably 15 years, but I was like, I always kind of liked them as a kid.
Well, they quit making them for a while.
Did they really?
Yeah, yeah. And then somebody bought them out of bankruptcy or something.
Sixlets was another like weird candy.
Yeah,
I like those.
no, those were
Remember those?
good.
I like those.
Those
Yeah.
were good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've moved on to the next
Next
episode of our
episode,
podcast,
yes.
which is Fat Guys Talking.
Next episode,
Fat Guys Talking Food.
check us out at Main Street in St. Charles with our boy BJ.
Check us out on our new podcast, Fat Guys Talk Food.
Yeah.
That's after 6
Candy
beers and we're all
episode.
hungry.
Where is that ribs with a side of ribs?
Dude, yeah.
Rib. But guys, this has been an awesome time. BJ, thank you so much for
BJ,
coming.
thank you
being a
for
guest.
coming out here.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for bringing us
This
some
was
beers.
awesome.
We will definitely. We got to figure out a time to come out next year and check out the brewery.
Absolutely.
If you guys are willing to have us.